$400 stimulus check just introduced today. Also, what Democrats are urging the president to do right now, and the details on a new survey that was just released. We have a lot to talk about in this video. Let's get into it right away. But really quickly before we do, if you're new here or if you haven't done so yet, make sure to subscribe by hitting that button right down below the video. It's totally free to do so, and my dedication is to be here right by your side every single day to help you out in any way that I possibly can with all the latest details during this very busy time as information continues to change very, very rapidly. I'm doing all the research and I'm watching everything closely so that you don't need to, and I distill it all down into these short videos so that you can get the latest details hot off the wire each and every day as this information is being introduced, especially during this time when we continue to see all of these proposals, amendments, packages, checks, and all of these other things that continue to hit the table right now. So again, thanks so much for joining me. Make sure to subscribe down below. It's totally free to do so, and I'll be here for you every single day with all the details. All right, thanks again. Let's jump right into this. All right, so as always, we have a lot to talk about in this video, so let's buzz through these one at a time here. Let's quickly talk about what Democrats are now urging the president to do considering the current landscape. So as we know, over the last several months here, we've been talking about the Build Back Better agenda, which, as we all know, is no longer a thing. As of probably about a month and a half ago or now, they dropped the name Build Back Better, but rather they still have all of these provisions, all of these different elements of the Build Back Better agenda still floating around out there, and they still want to get something done. But as we continue to approach the midterm elections a little bit later this year, Democrats in the House of Representatives, mostly the progressives, are now coming out urging the president, hey, president, get it all done through executive order. So they're kind of throwing all of this into the wind right now. And they're basically just urging the president to get all of this done through executive order, at least as much as he possibly can through executive order. It seems kind of interesting because for several months there, as they were continuing to work through the Build Back Better agenda and it wasn't really getting anything done, they were saying that back several months ago. However, as the window continues to close here on the midterm election and as we get closer and closer to it, and a whole lot of nothing getting done in Congress for the most part, they're now all of a sudden saying, okay, we're basically in jeopardy of losing the majority in the Senate, losing the majority in the House of Representatives. We've got to get something done here relatively quickly. So, hey, President, let's get all of this done through executive order. So, it's kind of interesting to watch Congress on a regular basis, literally every single day. The frustration between all these lawmakers continues to grow and grow, it seems like, on a daily basis, because there's a lot of back and forth right now. There's a lot of things that they want to get done, but virtually nothing, for the most part, is getting done. A little bit is getting done here and there, but for the most part, there is a lot of nothing getting done in Congress right now. So anyway, the frustrations are kind of running high right now, and they're just trying to find any strategy in which they can get some of these elements out of the Build Back Better or some of their legislation pieces done. So anyway, we'll see what actually happens here going forward, but this is not a new idea. This is something that we've seen out of Congress here multiple times over the last 4 or 5 months or so, maybe not quite that long, maybe 3, 4, 5 months now. We've been seeing these ideas come around, but anyway, just want to throw it out there as this was another piece that I just saw a little bit earlier today. So very interesting with everything going on. So anyway, let's continue on here and talk about this new survey that was just released, showing a little bit more about the American people, the consumer, us, the American people. Now, this is actually kind of interesting because this report is actually exactly consistent with another report that I just talked about. I think it was 2 days ago. I talked about a separate report, and what's interesting is these are very consistent. So this new report that just came out shows that 50% of people over the last 12 months have had a hard time paying their bills on time. So 50% of people have paid their bills on time. The other 50% of people have not been able to pay their bills on time. So that's a little bit concerning, right? If that many people are being late on paying their bills, it shows a big problem out there in the economy right now. A lot of people probably don't have the money to pay their bills, which is probably why they're late, right? So yeah, not only that, the survey continued on to show that only 32% of people over the last 12-month period were actually able to save any money. So that would also tell us, if we flip the equation around, 32% of people were able to save money. That would also tell me that 68% of people were not able to save any money and were living paycheck to paycheck. which is also very interesting because the report that I shared with you, I believe it was 2 days ago, showed us literally the exact same thing. Well, it actually had 1 percentage point difference. The report that I shared with you 2 days ago showed that 67% of people were living paycheck to paycheck. So I guess we're off by 1 percentage point, but the fact of the matter is they're basically pretty much the same number for the most part, right? 67 to 68%, 1 percentage point different, but the difference is they're pretty much right on top of each other, the same thing. So the reports here are showing literally the same thing, that about 2/3 of the people, 67 to 68% of the people right now are living paycheck to paycheck. Again, a major problem out there right now. That is not really a good solution, right? That is not a good thing. If that many people are struggling to pay their bills on time, and only 32%, so basically a third of the population is able to save money right now, I think all of us can see the picture that this is painting right now, right? Not a good situation. It should not be the numbers that way, right? There should be a lot more people that are able to pay their bills on time and a lot more people that should be able to save money. But the problem is, because of prices rising so incredibly fast right now, a lot of people are just having a hard time keeping up. Here's what also is interesting. The report went on to say that credit card balances and credit card usage right now, as in credit on credit cards, is at record high levels right now. So again, this all lends to the point that all of us, Americans, don't have money right now. Therefore, we continue to put all of these balances, we put our spending, our regular purchases, our necessities, the things that we need on credit cards. There's a lot of people that are floating balances on credit cards right now. So I found it to be very interesting. Not in a good way, more like kind of sad that there's that many people out there that are struggling right now, and it's obvious what the solution is to all of this. But again, just another report out there. I'd like to share these with you just to give you a pulse on what is going on and to let you know how us, the American people, the consumer, is actually doing right now when it comes to finances and things like that. I think we can all see it's very clear right now. There's a lot of people that are struggling. So I also want you to recognize too, if you're struggling right now, please don't feel like you're alone. You are certainly not alone. I know that that is not the solution. I know that me saying, hey, if you're struggling, you're not alone. I know that that's not going to solve anything, but I just want you to know, a lot of times when we're struggling with something, it's easy to think, oh, I'm the only one, everybody else is doing fine, I'm the only one struggling. Please don't feel that way, seriously. You can see right here from the reports, basically 2 out of every 3 people walking around the world right now, or at least in this country, is struggling in a big way. So if you feel that way, please don't feel that way. Seriously, you are not alone. We're doing everything we possibly can to get to Congress and to get them to issue some type of relief, payments, direct checks, stimulus checks, whatever they happen to do for us, the people who are struggling so much. So anyway, all right, let me quickly talk about this new $400 stimulus check that was just introduced today. In fact, I talked about this in the previous video earlier today. Now, this is something that I found earlier this morning. I wanted to do some more research on it before I brought it back to you in this video, but let me talk you through the details on this. Now, let's bring out the tally and put another hashtag, or what is it called, a hash mark on the tally here. Over the last week now, I think this is 6 proposals now that we've seen to send out either vouchers, checks, tax rebates, voucher cards. Seriously, this is another one. All right, so this is a $400 tax rebate. In other words, stimulus check. Tax rebate, tax credit, voucher, stimulus check, direct check, it's all the exact same thing. Money in your pocket. Anyway, it doesn't really matter the name that they give it. It's literally all the exact same thing. Money is what it is at the end of the day in your pocket. All right, so this one is just out of the state of California. But anyway, even if it's in California, even if you're not there, you still got to know about this stuff because we're seeing these things pop up all around the country right now. So the state of California introduced a $400 tax rebate earlier today. Again, stimulus check is what it comes out to be. So what this would be is actually for those individuals in California to help them with the rapidly rising gas prices in California, and how they're actually determining this $400 number is what they're doing is they're taking the 51 cent tax on gas in California. That's a huge tax, by the way. 51 cents per gallon of gas is just the state tax in the state of California. So basically what they were doing is They're looking at the 51 cent tax per gallon of gas, and they're basing that on a weekly fill-up of your car for the entire course of 1 year. And they've equated that out to $400 is what it's coming out to be. So that's what they're doing in California. Now, again, this was just introduced in Congress in the state of California today. And as far as I know, the last updates, I did not see that it was passed. However, I'm going to say this much. California has a pretty good history of passing just about anything that they bring to the table that pertains to checks, direct payments, stimulus checks, things like this. Let me give you a couple examples. Golden State Stimulus Check, number 1. Golden State Stimulus Check, number 2. All of the different universal basic income programs all around the entire state of California. In fact, right now, there's also talk about even another Golden State Stimulus Check in the state of California. Now we have this $400 tax rebate, stimulus check, by the way, is what it comes out to be. So there's a lot of money in California. By the way, this would cost about $9 billion in the state of California. But as of the last report that we saw, they have a surplus of $31 billion. So I'm pretty sure they can swing a $9 billion check right here. Not a big deal, right? So they have $31 billion sitting there, and they're trying to peel off $9 billion of it to give it back to the people. So I'm pretty sure they can do it. 31 minus 9 is still $22 billion that they'd still have sitting in their coffers to do whatever they want with. Not a big deal, right? So anyway, this one is out of the state of California. I want to bring you this information. I know that there's a lot of you here in California in this community. Either way, California, they're very generous with these checks and stuff, but at the same time, you also pay a ton in taxes in California, so I guess it all kind of comes full circle, if you know what I mean, right? You pay a lot in taxes, but then they also kind of do be a little bit more generous with the money going out as well. Anyway, we've got to watch all these programs popping up right now because realistically, there's a lot of different things going on all around the country, and there are multiple different states out there that are in support of having the federal gas tax removed, which is 18.4 cents. We've talked about that before. Honestly, it's not going to come out to much. Maybe save you $2 a fill up, maybe $3 a fill up. It's not going to be much. What they really need to do is figure out a way to get cash into the pockets of people rather than helping us save $2 a week or $3 a week filling our cars up with gas. Maybe they should just send us $1,000 or $2,000 or $1,400 or even fine, make it $600, whatever. Get us some money. That's what matters right now. Cash in hand is better than saving $2 a week going forward, right? You kind of get what I'm saying? So anyway, these are the updates that I have for you as of right now. As I do get more information, of course, I'll be right back here, shaking it all out, breaking it all down for you, helping you out in any way that I can, as that is my commitment to you and this community. So I hope that you appreciate this. I hope that you enjoy these updates. I'm here for you in any way that I can. There's a ton going on, not only here in this country, but all around the world as well. And like I've said before, it's all going to impact us. Even if it's something happened on the other side of the world, it doesn't matter. It's going to impact us in some way, shape, or form. Energy prices, food prices, all of it is going to impact us. We've got to watch it closely. Either way, I'm here for you. Make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet. Share this video with your friends, family, social media, and go back and check out any of the other 2,200 videos right here on the channel. And enjoy your day. I hope this one helps you, and I'll catch you again later in the next video.